Someone else gets the exact email they were hoping for, and they celebrate. You receive that same email, and before you even finish reading it, you convince yourself they sent it to the wrong person. Same message, completely different reaction. What's happening there? One look at the screen and the win is gone. This isn't humility. It's treating your own wins as accidents, and your brain runs it to keep you safe. I know exactly how this feels. Last year, I hit my biggest launch. I spent that night reorganizing desktop folders at 1 a.m. instead of calling a single person. In this video, you'll understand why this pattern runs and what to do the moment it starts.
The cause has nothing to do with your confidence. A quiet reflex operates underneath your choices, turning every victory into a threat. You didn't choose this, but until you see what's actually driving the loop, you'll never keep the ground you take. The moment the deal closes, the dread sets in. Relief never comes. Instead, you feel entirely exposed. Every quiet look from across the room feels like an accusation. You sit there mentally drafting your resignation letter the morning after you get a massive promotion. The fear completely overrides the facts. You already try faking the confidence. Repeating the affirmations and forcing a smile seems like the obvious fix. It never holds. So you shrink back and brush off the win. One compliment you deflect today becomes the unspoken rule for the next year. That silence doesn't happen because of what you didn't say. It happens because they watch you push the praise away, and they assume you don't want it. They stop offering the compliment, and you take their silence as absolute proof you never deserved it.
This reaction is automatic. Nobody chooses to reject their own life. The dread drops into your chest before the good news even registers. You haven't seen this same reflex where it costs the most. There's a specific reason you treat safety like a threat, and it runs completely under the radar.
Why you confess to nothing. You wrap up a massive project, and the second a colleague praises it, 3 missed typos instantly fall out of your mouth. You point out your own flaws to beat the critic to the punch. Calling this quality control feels responsible. That explanation is a lie. The goal is to destroy your own win before anyone else gets the chance. Right now, before a single person questions your output, you're preparing an opening statement. You gather the evidence of your own errors. Nobody asked. The courtroom is empty. Tearing your own work apart feels better than waiting for a verdict. If you strike first, no one can surprise you with a rejection. That's throwing away the receipt before you leave the store, so you can't prove you bought the item. Every time you highlight an error, you erase your own ownership of the victory.
Hold the silence and let the praise stand. Sitting in that pause proves the compliment isn't a trick. Your shoulders will finally drop. Write down one thing you did well today. Leave that paper visible on your desk. Your office is only the practice ground. Your closest relationships carry the exact same burden. The danger of looking effortless. You have 2 choices when a win arrives. You can own it, or you can hide it. If you own it, you invite your partner into your world. If you hide it, you force them to love a version of you that doesn't exist. They see a flawless victory, and the connection stays shallow. You hide your effort, making the reward seem unearned. Making things look easy gives the other person nothing to hold. Erasing the crumpled drafts and the late nights builds a gap between what you project and what you live. They praise a natural genius, but you know the truth. It's fake. The victory belongs to a phantom. You endure the grind alone because looking desperate appears worse than being lonely. Picture putting on a plastic mask to meet your friends, then walking away empty because they only hugged the disguise. The applause lands on the flawless character you invented. Your actual self gets nothing. Tell someone exactly how hard that win actually was. Admit one specific struggle you had this week. The applause stays shallow because they loved a ghost.
Why you only trust the critic. You know exactly when the feedback filter kicks in. Friends tell you to ignore the haters, and you already tried tuning them out, but it failed. You treat positive feedback as a lie and negative feedback as the only truth. Dozens of people applaud your work, and your eyes lock onto the single person who called the font choice boring. Your jaw sets tight while your mind scans for flaws because finding errors appears objective. You hand an anonymous troll veto power over a year of hard work just because they left a quick insult. A glowing review seems like pity, while a harsh comment registers as raw honesty. A stranger insults your work merely to vent their frustration. Imagine a player refusing to check the scoreboard. They decided the referee is blind. No score counts. Each point becomes a mistake. Every time you discard a good review, you repeat that same game.
Set a timer and celebrate the milestone for 24 full hours. Letting the words land stops the automatic rejection. Close the app immediately after reading it. The constant rejection leaves you completely drained today. Moving your own finish line? Why do you immediately devalue what you just fought for? You change the rules of the game the moment you win. A goal only earns your trust if it makes you bleed. Reaching the milestone without suffering feels unearned, so you discard the prize entirely. Goalpost shifting guarantees the exhaustion never breaks. Success feels cheap without a struggle. Hitting the mark early means the target was just too easy. That logic drives you to move the finish line backwards every time you take a step forward. All ground gained gets deleted. You hit a target weight and instantly decide it doesn't count because you reached it too fast. You erase the milestone before your feet plant on the ground. Right now, you rewrite the requirements just to avoid feeling the victory. Only one swap matters. Name the goal and lock it in place. From there, hold your ground and let the victory register. Refusing to let a victory count shapes who you become. Erase your progress enough times and you turn into a person who exists only to serve the next task. You become a machine that cannot feel its own success. Waiting for the audit. Two things happen when the bank balance updates. The dread fires. You treat your AIN money like a loan you have to pay back. The small raise hits the bank, you bury the cash. The big bonus clears, and you refuse to buy a lunch you'd actually enjoy. Then the new salary becomes official. You set your phone face down and wait for the audit. Every new dollar in the bank registers as an error. Spending it means you'd get caught. You would rather live broke with a full bank account than risk spending a dime you might have to return. Hoarding the cash creates a fake sense of control. If you keep the balance untouched, you can hand the funds back the second the company asks. Waiting for the exposure keeps you locked in place. Picture sitting inside a locked room and refusing to use the key because you think a stranger dropped it by mistake. The door stays shut. You don't owe anyone rent.
All the money on that screen belongs to you. Buy yourself one small thing today without justifying it. Relabel the balance in your head from an accidental loan to a permanent asset. The screen stops looking like a warning. It becomes a tool you can use. No debt ever existed. The cash is yours.
How to finally keep it. Now you know the traps. The hidden cause makes sense, and you know what to do the instant it starts. Imposter phenomenon. That automatic feeling that you're faking it, even when you've done the work. Every time you succeed, you actively break your own prize, just so no one else can take it. That stops today. You've been standing outside the door so long, you forgot you're the one holding the key. No one is going to hand you the version of yourself you've been waiting to become.
Nothing was an accident. That email is yours to answer. Subscribe. There's more here that gives it back to you.